My name is Joseph Healy. I'm a co-founder and co-CEO of Judo Capital, which is a specialist bank which focuses on small to mid-sized businesses in Australia. I'm also director of the Football Federation of Australia and an adjunct professor at the University of Queensland Business School. I'm a career international banker, having held senior executive positions in several international banks. Over the course of the last decade, I've been particularly focused on Chinese firms as they have come into Australia and Australian firms as they have entered the Chinese market. I previously had a book published. The book was called Corporate Governance and Shareholder Wealth Creation, and it was published in 2003 and used at a number of universities on their MBA programs. I hold 5 master's degrees from various universities in the UK and am a member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Scotland. I've lived in Sydney, Australia since 2001. Prior to that, I lived in London and also spent 2 years working in New York. I was born in Edinburgh, Scotland. I lived in China in 2014-15 whilst on sabbatical at the University of Nottingham, Ningbo campus, and I've also travelled extensively throughout China. During my time in Ningbo, I began researching the critical success factors of Chinese firms as they were internationalising their operations. My research whilst in Ningbo created the foundation for the book Chinese Firms Going Global, Can They Succeed? The book explores the basis upon which Chinese firms are internationalising their operations with a focus on what I'd call the 4 C's. That is, the core capabilities, the cultural adaptability, the competency of management, and the country of origin. The book explores how these 4 C's underpin success in international markets and also argues that weaknesses in one or more of those 4 C's can justify the existence of a 5th C called the cooperation of government. The book explores the biases that Chinese firms have to navigate in entering foreign markets and argues that the costs of being a stranger in a strange land are higher for Chinese firms than they are for other firms entering foreign markets. The book places emphasis on the important context in which Chinese firms enter international markets, addressing aspects such as culture, history, and management experience. The book, which is written with academic rigour, also places great emphasis on my practical experience of over 30 years. As an international banker, I have observed firsthand thousands of businesses as they have internationalised their operations and the things or factors that have made some successful and others less so. This practical experience is brought to bear in the book. The book also reflects my deep passion for business and deep interest in the international economy. My motivation for writing the book is to contribute to a greater understanding of the challenges that Chinese firms face as they internationalise their operations, and to address some of the biases that are evident in much of the public discourse in the West on China and on Chinese firms. Much of the commentary in the West on the motivation for Chinese firms internationalising their operations is heavily influenced by negative bias. This book will help balance that bias by providing important context in understanding what Chinese firms are doing and why they're doing it and how they are doing it and how they can play a positive role in the development of the global economy. I passionately believe that China and Chinese firms have an important role to play in the global economy. The book has been influenced by both primary and secondary research. The primary research was of 54 Chinese firms based in Australia in 2015. The secondary research was largely based on an extensive literature review, which was augmented by an extensive research of the business media. The book is not primarily aimed at the academic audience, but it will be of interest to students of international business. The book has been written in a way that it is accessible to general readers interested in China and its growing role in the international economy. Whilst there is much reference to published material, I have taken great care to ensure that my voice is loud and clear and that an original contribution is made to one of the most topical contemporary issues facing the global economy. In writing the book, I was acutely conscious that there are many books that have been written on China and on Chinese businesses over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. And therefore, given the time involved in writing a series book, I often reflected on the extent to which this was going to make an original contribution into what is a fast-growing and sometimes crowded market. The book takes a unique approach to understanding the challenges and biases that Chinese firms face as they internationalize their operations. It weaves together themes from many disciplines, so providing an important context in which these challenges can be fully understood. This is a comprehensive book which has the potential to make a significant contribution in understanding the role that China and Chinese firms will play in the global economy in the future. It will appeal to business leaders and policy leaders. The book will make a significant contribution and has the potential to influence the perception of policy and business leaders in the West towards China and Chinese firms. It will also counter the negative bias that has tended to dominate public discourse on Chinese firms as they have internationalized their operations.